Hello and welcome to Derp and Friends Reviews.
Oi, oi, welcome.
We aren't gonna do the gotta go, because this isn't
No,
One Piece.
no. Stop liking our videos. That's all I
Please,
gotta say.
if you like our reviews or any of my other content, including Pokemon D&D, D&D, just my regular gaming, please like, subscribe, comment. Help us towards that second like goal so we can watch another season of One Piece, but after this first season, it is a lot shorter seasons because the next one's only 15 episodes.
Yeah, you're making me cry. Stop it.
uh, here we're here tonight to review the movie, or the 2013 movie Prisoners. And this was my second full-time viewing. I've seen bits and pieces
Ooh, someone
after
replied.
the original time.
Super
It's Mike.
game. Oh, just Mike. Get out of here, Mike. And stop liking our videos. God damn it.
You know that's just gonna make him do it.
No.
This is, like I said, this is my second time watching it, full time watching it. I've seen bits and pieces since it originally came out 11 years ago. This is his first
My
time.
first time, and you got a special treat for you guys. There are 5, count them, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, about 5 superheroes in this movie. It's a wacky world of
Let's
a
just
mixture of
go ahead
DC
and
and
name
Marvel.
those. We have Hugh Jackman, also known as
Wolverine.
playing as the main character. Keller Dover. Then we have Mysterio, or Jake Gyllenhaal, playing as the other main character, Detective Loki.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have
Walla Davis. Sorry, Viola. Viola?
Viola.
Viola. Viola. Hmm. Even though she wasn't really in it. Like, Terrence Howard was in it more.
Then we have War Machine, or First War Machine,
Mm-hmm.
or
War
Terrence
Machine.
Howard, playing as kind of a side character, but he's in it quite a bit. But
He's in it more than Viola Davis, that's for sure.
and then we have David Dashmelshan, playing as a character named Bob Taylor. We'll get more into explaining him later.
Oh, I don't know any of the characters' names.
Or
I just know them by the superhero
the
names.
Polka Dot Man is who he
Oh,
plays as.
Polka Dot Man. I know who that is.
And we have some other.
And who's the one guy? Not Grace Dover.
Paul Dano. Then we have Paul Dano playing as
Alex Jones.
one of the main characters. And he plays as
The Riddler. In the latest Batman movie. He's really good as the Riddler. I wanted a little more riddles from him, but, you know, it's all good. It's whatever.
let's get to the review after.
Oh, right. Review time. Okay. Well, it starts off with Hugh Jackman and his son. I mean, did I say Hugh Jackman? I meant Wolverine. Duh. So they're like there's like a prayer and they're hunting a deer and the kid shoots the deer and he's like, "Oh man, with Carajo, I'm proud of your son." And he is a prepper. He is preparing. Pray for the best, prepare for the worst, and we learned that you know he's a handyman, he's a carpenter, and he has a very organized basement with bullets and extra food, like canned food for long term survival, propane and propane accessories, um, and bunch of stuff. Anyways, so we learned that it's Thanksgiving, and they're on their way to go to the neighbor's house, and so they walk over, and so they arrive. Hey, hey, it's Thanksgiving. They meet the other family. This is where we meet War Machine and Voila Davis, and they're like, hey, it's kind of funny. Like they each have a kid that's a teenager. It's around 15, 16 years old, and they each have a younger kid, a daughter who's about
6.
5 or 6. Yeah, um, and they get along, so that's pretty nice. And they eat dinner, and the girls are these two girls, the younger girls are like, "Oh no, I forgot my whistle. Can I go to the house and get it?" And the parents are like,
Well,
"Yeah, yeah." Hmm?
first they ask, can we go outside, taking their older siblings with.
Oh right, because they gotta go to the RV.
Yep.
So they're playing with some like ice chunk, and they're like hitting it on the back of this RV, and the older kids are like, "Hey, hey, no, um, don't do that. Uh, it's we don't want to bother the person inside because they hear a voice inside, and so they start you know walking away, and the little girl tries to climb on the ladder. He's like, "Nope, nope, nope. We're gonna go eat dinner." So they go. Then they go eat dinner,
After
and
zooming in to the inside of the RV,
yep, you can see someone, first person view of someone in the RV. We don't know who it is. Anyways, so then after dinner, the parents are talking. They're going back and forth. The War Machine is like, "I'm gonna pull out my trumpet and I'm taking requests," and he plays it very poorly, which is really funny. And the girls sing a song. They're like, he's like, "We're gonna play Jingle Bells," and they go like, "Jingle bells, Batman spells, Robin laid an egg, but Mobile lost a wheel and Joker got away." Hey, that's how they do it, and that's how they roll. And they're like, "Ha ha ha," and then the girls are like, "Oh man, I don't have my rescue whistle with me. I left it at the house." And then one of the parents is like, "Yeah, yeah, you can go get it. Whatever. You just gotta go with your older brother or something like that." But then like half an hour goes by, and the little girls leave, and then the parents come down. They're like, "Hey, have you seen the little girls?" They're like, "No. Why?" "Oh, they were supposed to come down and ask you for permission." "Oh, nobody came down. We've just been watching TV." And so they're like, "Oh crap." Well, so Wolverine goes over to the house, and he doesn't find them. And then they're looking all over um, at the neighbor's house, and they can't find them. And they start panicking. They're like, didn't you mention that there was an RV nearby and they were playing it?" "Oh yeah, maybe they went over there." So they run over there, and the RV is gone, and they don't see it. They don't see them, and they start panicking and find out that they're missing. Oh no! So the movie can happen. Um, and we learn that, and then it cuts to Mysterio. He's a cop. He's like eating food in a diner on Thanksgiving, and he gets a call, and he drives over by this gas station, and he finds an RV, and some other, calls in the other cops, and they all like kind of go in, and the detective goes in first, and uh, then the RV starts driving backwards, and they're like, oh shit, it's driving backwards," and it then drives forward into a tree, and the cops surround it, and Mysterio goes in there with his pistol drawn, and he sees the Riddler inside, and we get introduced to the Riddler, and so they're questioning him, and Wolverine and his wife are like, "Oh my God, they caught the guy. This is the guy. Blah blah blah. He ran away," and all that stuff. So the Riddler that gets arrested, and he says, "Find girls" or something like that, very quietly under his breath. Um, And then this is where the Riddler gets interrogated, and he's getting like yelled at and not beaten up, but he's he went. We learned that he goes through like 10 hours of interrogation,
And
and it's like whoa.
Detective Loki gets really in his face, and
Yeah, he's like, where I know you know where the girls are. I know you know where the girls are, and he has a hard time speaking. Um, let's see, interrogated. Um, and then it cuts to Mysterio going to the Riddler's aunt. Um, and he mentions like a search for a couple of girls. Um, and we find out that M. What? Oh, oh, wait, I can explain. Dwarf, you can live 750 years. I only live 350 years. Human, at least you can live longer than a century. DM, you guys think you're gonna live? Wow. Because they're gonna die. Anyways, go to they sorry, Mysterio meets the Riddler's aunt, and she's like, "Oh, search for girls. Okay, I'll keep my eye out." Well, my is she says this is her nephew. Is the nephew's the Riddler. Search for girls, and then we find out that Mysterio is a guy who solves cases, and he's never not solved a case before. Um,
he solved like 7 of them, or I think they said they gave a number.
they say all of them. I didn't hear a number. Um, and then he gets released, and as he's getting released, we learn that the Riddler is slow. He has like a super low IQ. He has a Q like a child basically. Um, and let's see. Wolverine wants the Riddler charged, and he's talking to Mysterio. And Mysterio's like, "Dude, I can't fucking charge him. We had to let him go. You can only hold someone for 48 hours." Um, so, let's see. Oh, and then after that, he gets mad. He's like, "You promise you'll charge him with something?" He's like, "Oh yeah, whatever," just to get him off his ass. And then this is where Mysterio checks up on the other sex offenders in there. He's like, "There's X amount of level 3 sex offenders in there. I'm gonna talk to all of them and stuff like that." And so he does that, and then he finds a house where father is inside, or the religious kind, and he
Priest.
goes to the priest, and he goes to the window and he sees the guy passed out, and he knocks down the door, and he checks up on him, and he's just drunk, and then he sees he's just like searching through his house, and he sees uh, the refrigerator that was a little off, um, and he finds behind it was a secret door, and the door led to like a cellar. It was a shortcut to the cellar, I guess. There's no stairs, so he had to like jump down. Um, and he finds a dead body, the man like with tape over his mouth and tied up to a chair, and he's been dead for a while. Let's see. Yep, drunk out. Hidden door. Dead tied up body. Um, and then he brings he wakes up the priest, and puts his head over where the hidden door is, and he's just like, "Hey, what the hell was going on? You have a dead body in here." He's like, "Yeah, this guy came to confess that he killed 16 children, and he was like laughing at it, and I had to stop him." And so that was his story of this guy confessing all these killings. Um, and then this is where the Riddler was let go, officially released, and he's like signing his name super slow. And the Wolverine confronts the Riddler, and he's just like, "Hey, hey, what happened?" And he says something like really quietly to the Wolverine.
He says, they only cried when I left.
Yeah, they only cried when I left, and only the Wolverine could hear this, and he's like, "You know where my daughter is? You know where my daughter is?" And this kid is slow, so he doesn't really speak very well. Anyways, um, and then Mysterio questions the Riddler about the incident and what happened in front of his aunt, um, and he's like, "Hey, did you say anything to him or whatever?" And he's just like, no, he didn't really answer or anything. Um, let's see, and then Wolverine's wife was crying and she was on like pills and stuff like that, and she's like, you say you're gonna protect us from everything, but you didn't protect us from this, and you're prepared for everything, which really hit him hard. And he was just like, "Fuck." So he goes and stalks the Riddler. Wolverine does, and a very peculiar thing when the Riddler went to walk the dog. Um, he lifted it up um,
By the
by the
leash.
collar, by the leash, yeah, and was basically choking the dog for a couple seconds, which is really strange. Hi, you come to join us? Wow. Whoa. Sorry, I'm petting a dog. There you go. We'll lay down. We'll lay down, Manly. We'll lay down. Okay. Um. Oh yeah. So he tortures this dog for a little bit, and he starts walking. And he starts singing the Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, and this is where Wolverine hears this, and he pulls a gun on the Riddler. He pulls a gun on the Riddler, and he's just like, "You need to come with me." So he kidnaps him, and he's tied up in a random abandoned warehouse, or no, abandoned apartment building. And he says he's gonna hurt him until he talks, uh, or they're gonna die. Wait, hurt him until he talks, or they're gonna die. I think he was talking to like War Machine or something like that. Cause he brought War Machine up to show him his new thing.
Prisoner.
Yeah, his prisoner. Oh, that's the name of the movie.
No, it's actually prisoners.
Yeah, because there's multiple prisoners apparently. Anyways, let's see.
There's in a sense.
And then there's a reference to what is it? Conyers
Conyers.
Conyers boys.
Yep.
He's a boy that was kidnapped like 26 years ago, and he's talking to the mother, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, all that boy's out there." And she keeps watching the same tape over and over again about her son or
Yeah, son.
grandson or something
I
like that.
believe it was son.
Okay, son. I suppose 26 years that'll do it. Anyways, so this boy was kidnapped 26 years ago, and she's like, yeah, he was never found, but I don't know. It's kind of like a weird clue that kind of didn't lead anywhere. Um, anyways, so
There's a lot of those in this movie that don't add up to the end. That's one of the things I like about it. And I'll explain why at the end of the video.
in 12 seconds. Anyways, um, then we cut to a scene where the father is interrogated, or the priest, and as this is happening, the Riddler gets tortured, um, and he basically gets punched over and over and over again. Um, oh, and then there's a candle ceremony later on that night, and Mysterio sees a strange man, and this strange man keeps looking at the cop, in like a weird way, and so he starts. A chase happens, and he starts chasing him down and stuff like that. And then he loses him at the highway. He was very close. There's a very tense scene where he's looking through the backyards and like a dog starts barking or something, and then he gets jumped on, and he starts running away. He's like, "Ah, get away from me! Ah, I don't know you, stranger danger." Um, okay, so highway, and then Wolverine believes the Riddler is working with this mystery man who comes to light, and he's just like, "You guys are working together. I know you are. Um, you just tell me this. You're just doing this to yourself." Like as he's like torturing this guy. Um, let's see. Then it cuts to a clothing store, and some mysterious guy, Mysterio, was there talking to this woman, and mentions that this guy was, buying kids' clothes, and he was kind of creepy, and he's like, all right, if you see anything, like, give me this, call me on this number. Um, and then this is where War Machine tells Viola Davis of the kid being tortured, or the Riddler being tortured, and she sees him and unties him, and she's like begging for, you know, hey, please, I want to see my little girl again. Please tell me where she is. And he doesn't say anything. He's just scared. Um, and then he hears Wolverine, and he like jumps up, and he's just like He's like trying to get away because he's being tortured by this guy, and he breaks the window and takes a shard of glass, and he's just starting to swing it, and then he's told, he gets wrestled down, and he's told to drop the glass, and um, that's that. Um, and then Wolverine uses carpentry skills to build a dark room, as you will, um, which is basically um, he gets this
Walled in with just enough air for him to be able to breathe out of,
Mm-hmm.
and also so they could hear him and talk to him.
Yep. So little sunlight as possible, and the shower was connected to either scalding hot water or super cold water. Um, and so that's fun. Anyways, dark rooms.
They do it because they had already beaten him to an inch of life, and that was the only way they could still torture him without killing him.
Yeah, it was also a way to keep him untied, so he could move his arms better, and they didn't have to worry about people untying him. Anyways, um, so this mystery. Then it cuts to a scene where the parents of the black parents are at the house, and this mystery man is in War Machine's house. Like, oh, what? Why is he there? Um, for just a brief second, and then we see his face, and we learn it's Polka Dot Man. Ooh. Polka Dot Man was in. Then he goes. Then Pokemon Dot Man is seen in Wolverine's house. So why is that happening? Oh my goodness! And this is where Mysterio tails Wolverine because he's like out of the house, and he's talking to the wife, and the wife is like, oh yeah, he's out searching with the cops, searching with you guys, looking for our daughters. Um, and so he's like, all right, the Wolverine sounds really weird. So he starts tailing him, and Wolverine sees his car, and he's onto him. So he goes into um, the stunt doubles. Got it. Okay, I was just like, wow, they look very not them. Anyways, so Wolverine's down to Mysterio. He jumps in Mysterio's car, and they have a conversation. And he's like, "Hey, why are you following me?" And earlier that day, Mysterio, when he was talking to the wife, he looked downstairs and he saw he was a prepper, and he found a half bag of lye um, open. Basically, it was half empty, I guess, or half full, depending on how you look at it. What? I
The
can't read from here.
hospital you're born in is the only building you leave without entering.
Whoa. Whoa, dude, that is deep. Anyways, sorry about that, folks. We just got some memes over here. Um,
Deep thoughts from the deep.
yep. Anyways, so he's like, no, what are you talking about? I used that lie to bury my dog last year. Of course I used it. Um, and he's like, now I haven't taken a drink in. Oh my god. It could be either one. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. All right. So Wolverine's getting drunk. Well, it makes sense. He's Wolverine. Um, and then later that night, he's in his bed and he has a dream of his daughter with the whistle. He's like, "Oh my God, Daddy, you're alive!" And she's like, "I found my whistle, Daddy." Um, And then the next day, Wolverine is like, "Hey, where's my daughter? You can just say where she is." He doesn't say anything, and okay, that's strange. What? Why is that a meme?
I don't know. Cause
Is
his
that a door or something?
no, cause his junk.
Oh, okay. Wait, go up. The reason why Homelander. Oh, the reason why Homelander. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Oh, sorry, folks. My back is weird. Anyways, this is where Wolverine tortures the Riddler with the hot, scorching water. And he was like, "Oh no, no!" And he starts talking a little bit. He starts talking like little things. He just says, "I just wanted to play." And he's like, "What does that mean? Where's my daughter? Where is she?" um, gross. Anyways, Mysterio, he he finds the abandoned building somehow. I think he follows the Wolverine, goes to the abandoned building, and he's like, "Oh, hey, and Wolverine is like crap, and he's like, if you say anything, I'll just leave the water on like all day or whatever, and so he goes down to the bottom floor and he has a couple empty bottles of booze and he's sleeping down there and the Mysterio sees him. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing down here?" He's like, um, "I've come here to get drunk away from my wife because I don't want her to see me get drunk." He's like, "Oh, well, do you want to give me a tour?" And he starts getting a tour of the place. And right when he's about to go into the room uh, where his prisoner is, where the Riddler is, he gets a call on his cell phone. And the woman from the store, uh, she said she saw him again, and he started like running away. And he's like, "Oh, did you get a plate?" And she's like, "Yep, here it is." And as he's driving off, he gets the plate, so he's able to find out where his house is. So he goes to the Polka Dot Man's house and visits him, and he, you know, enters the door, and they're both laughing. He's just like, "Oh, you went to the store to buy kids' clothes. Do you have any kids?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he just like he's about to slam the door, and he bursts in, he handcuffs him. He's like, "If you move, I'm gonna put a bullet through your head." So he searches the house, and it's creepy. He finds that he sees a pig's head in the sink, and uh, then he finds like boxes, like large, not boxes, but like like plastic
Crates.
plastic crates. There we go. Thank you. With holes at the top for oxygen. So he sees this, and they're all like fastened. He opens one. There's snakes inside. But before that, he sees clothes with blood on it and snakes inside. He sees another one, snakes inside. Hits another one, snakes inside. And hits another one, and there's this book, and it says, "Finish the maze, and then you can leave," or something like that, or finish these mazes, and then you can leave. So he gets arrested, and he gets interrogated, and he's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he can't stop drawing mazes, which is very strange. He's like, "Okay, what are you doing?" Um, Wait, I don't get it. What? Can someone please tell her? Sisters 92, 95, 92, 95. They're sisters, okay. Uh, Someone had a leg. Anyways, sorry, stupid memes that are distracting me. We're almost done here, folks. It's almost done. Search creepy snakes, bloody clothes. Alright, they found some bloody clothes. And then this is where Wolverine blames, um, oh right, the bloody clothes, and some of these clothes with blood on them, they're the clothes of the daughters, um, and so they get called in to identify the clothes, and you know, War Machine's family sees them and they're crying, and they leave, and then Wolverine sees his daughter's clothes, and he's just like, crap, they're dead, crap, they're dead. And he goes to his son. Wolverine blames Mysterio. He's like, Mysterio, and he's like, you've been following me around. You weren't actually catching the real killer. This is all your fault. Blah blah blah. And Wolverine doesn't believe his daughter's dead because there's no body. And he talks to his son. He's like, hey, you're not gonna say anything to your mom, who's drugged out all the time. Any newspaper you find, um, you're not going to do anything. And the kid goes, no, she's dead, Dad, she's dead. And he puts some of them up against the wall. He's like, no, she's not dead. You are not going to tell your mom anything. You're not going to talk to the news people at all. Let's see. So that was a fun scene. I think she's dead. And then this is where the next scene is where Mysterio is watching this uh, polka dot man keep drawing this maze, and he's like, "Hey," and he loses temper, and he goes in, and he starts like, "Hey, where is she? Where is she? Where is she?" And then he starts like, you know, taking him by the collar, and starts rough him up a little bit, and the other police officers get in, and then Polka Dot Man takes one of his guns, and the two other police officers are looking at him like, "Oh shit!" They pull their guns on him. Um, and Polka Dot Man shoots himself in the mouth and is then dead. All right, and then you know, Mysterio is his captain is just like, hey, you need don't he says, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He's like, don't apologize to me, apologize to the families. Because he was about to like say something and he wasn't able to say it. That's great. Anyways, yes, he drew a maze. Uh, and then the Riddler, it cuts to the back to the Riddler, and he's like, and he says something. He's like, "It's a maze." Um, and after this, Wolverine wants to get some more information, so he goes and meets the Riddler's aunt, and tells her like, "Hey, I want to apologize for driving your son away. After I scared him in the parking lot, I feel really bad about that." And so she invites him in, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been having like weird dreams about mazes." And she's like, "Oh, mazes, huh? Okay, cool. Well, yeah, my nephew is scared of snakes. So we learned that. Um, and then it cuts to Mysterio, and he's like in the um, uh, police station, and he's at his desk, and he starts, you know, pushing everything off the desk, and he breaks his keyboard, and he's mad, and some of the pictures fall, and he looks down, and he sees a maze in one of the pictures that looks similar to the maze that the polka dot man was drawing, and he's like, "Huh, that's a strange pattern." Um, and then he gets a call that they in the polka dot man's yard they found some kid mannequins with pig's blood. That's what the pig's head was for, and it wasn't actual blood. There was no um, nothing nothing there. There was no human blood, I should say. Um, Kid mannequins, and then for whatever reason, Mysterio goes around to the different houses, and he goes in the back and he sees some footprints, and he, gets down and he sees a sock that belonged to the Wolverine's daughter. He's like, huh, that's strange. And then after that, War Machine's daughter was found, and it was like, oh my god, it's a miracle she's found. So they all go to the hospital. Wolverine and his wife go to the hospital. They're like, oh my god, let us through, blah blah blah. Wow, and they're trying. This is when they're trying to interrogate this War Machine's daughter, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. She's all like drugged up and shit. And oh, I get it. Uh, and they're talking to her like, hey, do you know any way where where my daughter is and stuff like that. And she's kind of slowly wakes up, and is like, and she has a flashback to her being on a floor and having to drink this nasty liquid, uh, and then her escaping with I think that both the girls were escaping at the same
Yep.
time, but
They stopped
the
Wolverine's.
Wolverine's daughter got stopped, um, which sucks. But something, and then she says, you were there," pointing to Wolverine. He's like, "What? I was there." Yeah, you were there, and like he gets a sudden realization, like, "Oh shit, I know where she is," and and watching the movie, I didn't need to know. I was like, "Oh shit, I know where she is too." Ha 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 ha. And so it's the Riddler's aunt is the prime suspect at this time. So he goes to the aunt's house and he's like, "Hey, I want to do some penance." And she's like, "You already apologized." He's like, "Yeah, but I want to fix stuff around your house as an apology, even more." And she's like, "All right, come in." And he puts down his tools, and he's like staring away from her. He's like, "I don't want to have to hurt you." And she pulls a gun on him, and she's like, "Haha, don't you dare move. I know what you're trying to do." And she has him put on handcuffs. She has him drink this liquid, and she's like, "Hey, if you want to see your daughter, you have to drink this liquid because that's where you're going." And so he drinks it. He, starts to puke a little bit, and it's not working. She's like, "All right, you need to walk over here." Gets him into this car, and she holds the gun up to his head, and is like, "You need to back up slowly. You're not going very far. Back up slowly." He backs up slowly, and then he's like, "See there?" Uh, Points to there's like a hole in the ground, and that's where your daughter is. And she's like, "All right, take the piece of wood, take the cover off." And he does that, and he looks down, and he's like, "Oh, daughter's name, whatever the name
Anna.
is." What is it?
Anna.
Anna. And she's like, "Oh no, she's not in there right now. She's in a different place. But you need to jump in right now." And he's like, "What? I'm not gonna do that." And he's like, "You're gonna have to shoot me to do that." So she shoots him in the leg. Yeah, hi Nelly. She shoots him in the leg, and then he gets in. And he falls. It's kind of a it's like a 10-foot hole, I think. 10-foot, 12-foot hole. Kind of a big drop. Drops down, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna leave you in there for 24 hours. If you're lucky, I'll throw your daughter's corpse in there when you're still alive." And he's pissed off at this, but he can't do much of anything. And so he has like a liquid daughter under car hole. Um, and then at this point it cuts to Mysterio, and um, he he thinks he knows where Wolverine is going after he runs away from the hospital. Um, oh, right. Wolverine runs away from the hospital when he realizes the thing, and he's like, "Hey, stop!" Blah blah blah. So he goes back to the abandoned building, thinking that he's there. So he finds the Riddler inside the dark room. He hears screaming and stuff like that. And Mysterio is like, they're kind of handling it, and Mysterio is tasked with informing the aunt of like, where this is where your nephew is. So he kind of and down in the hole, down in the pit, Wolverine, he has a flashlight with him that he was carrying, and he's able to like search around, and he sees his daughter's whistle down there, and you're like, oh shit, the whistle, yes, excellent. And Mysterio, knocks on the door to the house of the aunt's house, or Riddler's aunt's house, and finds her standing over Wolverine's daughter. And he's like, "Put your hands up, put your hands up." And she's like, you're gonna have to cremate me. I'm not gonna be buried in no box. So she turns around and starts shooting him, and he kills her. And then Mysterio rushes the daughter to the hospital, and it's raining. He can barely see. He's losing blood himself. He almost gets in car accidents, but he somehow makes it to the hospital. And oh, save the daughter, save the daughter. And the daughter, you know, the next day, or I guess this is what it is.
Yeah.
Is daughter comes out and says, the mom is like, "Oh, you're here to our daughter is here to thank the hero or whatever," and she doesn't say anything. And she's like, "Yeah, she kept insisting that she went back to the house and found her whistle." But I was like, "No, honey, you don't have your whistle." Well, the daughter was in the hole where Wolverine is. That's where they were put first, and then they were moved later, I guess.
When they started kind of catching on, they moved her to be to hide her better.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we're almost done here, folks. And so they go back to the crime scene of Riddler's house, and they're kind of searching, digging up bodies, and they're like, "We're gonna call it for the night," blah blah blah. And everyone else leaves, and the cop's still there, Mysterio's still there, and he hears a slight whistly sound. He's like, "Huh, that was weird." And he hears it again. It's very, very faint, because it's been almost 24 hours, or about 24 hours since he's been stuck in that hole. And that's where the movie ends. So, also, it's like, oh yeah, if Wolverine is caught, he's probably going to go to jail for torturing the Riddler. So, and it turns out that that little boy that was lost 26 years ago was the Riddler. And
He was their
woman,
first victim, and so the whole they only cried after I left was talking about his parents.
I thought it was
No, it was his parents.
the daughter's crying.
It was his parents.
Oh.
So he was talking about his parents, I believe.
Oh,
At
okay.
least that's what I took it as of both times I watched it.
I thought he was talking about like the like when he left the daughters or something like that with the aunt.
I think it was
That's
kind
what
of
I thought it
both.
was.
Might have been both, but I think it was more his parents.
Okay.
Kind of just hinting at like his parents don't
Yeah.
are alive.
There was something I forgot to write down too, but it was the aunt, and she was just like, you know, we've been doing this for X amount of time,
26 years.
26 years, and you know, she brings out the liquid, and she's like, oh, it's my husband's recipe. So her and her husband are like, we're at war with God or something like that, and taking away someone's children really shows who a person is. And this is when she's talking to Wolverine. She's like, and you're quite you're quite the person, like you're quite the demon yourself, basically. You know, seeing as he started torturing the Riddler, but nobody knew this except for a handful of people. Um, but
I think if anything, she was more talking about his drive to find his daughter, just like how
what was it?
driven he was. Not
Ooh,
necessarily what he did, but just like
okay.
how he's been acting. Like
Super,
she's like
like super, like
aggressive.
emotional and yeah, aggressive. Um, yeah, but she said a quote. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like, yeah, it's like us versus we have to have it. There's a war on children or something like that. It was like really weird, messed up thing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they've been kidnapping kids, and they, you know, they gave those clothes to that polka dot man,
Bob Taylor.
and he didn't do anything. There's nothing he did with any of the bodies. He just wanted clothes for his mannequins. And like he has some like weird ritual where
They kidnap the kids to as part of their war on God to avenge their son's death and to create demons out of the traumatized parents.
oh, war on God because God took away their
Son from
son.
cancer.
Oh, it was from cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. Anyways, well that was our review. Let's see, out of five, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It was definitely watchable, but but it was from 10 years ago, so the twists and turns were good, but it wasn't like in your face, like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. It was just like, oh, okay, well that's how it was. That's how.
And I also had to explain a few things.
Yeah. Well, there was like if the subtitles were on, so
Yeah.
like the Riddler was like saying stuff, and I turned to Derp and I was like, dude, I have no idea what that kid just said, and he's just like, oh, he said this. I was like, oh, you got that from? uh,
Also, the first time I watched it was also on in theaters, so it was a lot louder.
oh yeah, but still, you had the volume was up. But yeah, what do you rate it?
I both times I've seen it, I'd rate it a 5. Like I said, this is one of my favorite thrillers, mainly because even like the smallest detail that feels like it's just a red herring all ends up being actually a part of the mystery. Like
Yeah,
with the first kidnapping ends up being Alex Jones.
the Riddler.
The clothing, the snakes, all end up being actually a part of the mystery. Just every single minute detail.
Yeah, why were the snakes in there again? Because I know the Riddler was scared of snakes. Was that to prevent him from
Yeah,
opening the boxes, maybe?
or I think it had to do with the Bob Taylor, because they mentioned something to do with snakes with his captivity.
Who's Bob Taylor?
He was the polka dot man. That was his character name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I don't know the characters. I just know my polka dot man. So he had the snakes in there.
I don't remember exactly, but
I don't know. He was just a weird dude. Anyways, and he.
traumatized by the events, just kind
Oh,
of
right.
messed with his
He
head.
was kidnapped when he was younger. Yeah, so he got traumatized by that.
He was one of their victims after Alex that
Oh, he was a
he
victim of
escaped.
them.
Yeah, he escaped
Okay.
because Alex is the only victim that, to our knowledge, that they've said in the movie that actually solved the riddle or like the book that they didn't kill or they
Oh,
didn't kill him because he was their first victim.
okay. And so that maze book was you had to solve all the
Yeah,
puzzles and he would survive.
yeah.
And so the polka dot man was
He escaped. They didn't necessarily say if he solved the maze book or if he just. I think they said that he freed himself and escaped. I think that's what it said.
okay. All right. Well, then that begs the question: how did he get those his clothes? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, did he was he? Because I don't because if he escaped the aunt, why would he go back to the aunt
Well,
for those clothes?
that's where I was saying that I think when he was in their houses, he stole bits of their clothing, and
Yeah.
that's why he was in the house.
Oh, okay. That's how he got the clothes.
Yeah,
Okay. And
because that.
so those weren't the clothes the girls were wearing.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. They were wearing different clothes. I was thinking that they
it
okay.
because like socks is a little. I mean, it's a little kid. She probably has tons of pink socks.
Yeah, but this one had like a face on it. Okay. Yeah, it's starting to fit. Starting to fit.
Like I said, all the small details actually, or hint clues, actually come into explaining the plot of the mystery. Like that.
Yeah.
It never exactly said why he was in their houses. But that's just my assumption. Was it because he stole their clothes?
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. To put on his mannequins,
Yeah.
put make them all bloody so he could yeah dealing with the trauma that he had when he after he escaped. Okay. Cool. Well, that's our review of Prisoners 2013. Oh boy, that was long. It's almost been an hour. Oh Jesus Christ!
Next
Oh,
week we
don't like and do not subscribe because reviewing One Piece. No, let's not do that. Let's do other things.
please like, subscribe, comment. Don't listen to him. It's my channel, not his. So do the exact opposite.
I'm
And
gonna frown the whole time then, and I'm gonna be sad.
we haven't decided what our movie next week will be. That's his
I'm
choice.
gonna decide. I started gathering a list.
And I know my next movie. I don't even know what my next. Thought I had an idea, but then I forgot. And we'll
That's
decide
okay.
that next week. And then Tuesday we will do Fight Group D&D. Then Wednesday or throughout all next week will be the first Pokemon D&D gym battles. I'm probably not gonna stream them. It'll probably be the very might stream the last fight. I want to keep the team secret.
Makes sense.
And I will record them. Then every Tuesday or Wednesday we will do our next One Piece reviews. And then maybe on Saturday. Also, comment any movies we should watch and review. I know in 2 weeks we're gonna do the 4:30 movie, the new Kevin Smith movie.
When does it start?
We don't know yet, but we're gonna try to find a showtime at 4:30. Even if we have to go to Princeton. And then eventually, him and I and two other people plan to watch and review all the Kevin Smith movies. Because that'd be a lot of fun. For
Okay.
not just the View Askew Universe movies, we will do Tusk, Yoga Hosers, Zack and Miri Make a Porno. And I think all the others are Askew Universe movies.
Oh yeah.
We'll sign off before we start rambling again.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye.